Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon you. Hope you're doing well. So, like you've read on the title, How I Learned English. Let's just start with that. Camera moderate. Moderate. Mhm. So, StreamYard, eh? First time using it. I was playing with the appearance slider. Here is very subtle. Subtle. I don't want to move it all the way to the end. It wouldn't look that attractive. It wouldn't look good. Anyways, so let's talk about how I learned English. Okay, that's a background over there. It's a bit distracting, I must say. So there's the blur option, and there's this wall. Doesn't have a name, just a brick wall. Ah, looks depressing. Let's just go with the nice looking, nice looking home. So, it's a house. Anyway, so how I learned English? Well, how it started. It started by lots of listening. And I usually say that because when I imagine how it started, because trust me, it's been quite a long time. We're talking 2009, something like that. So somewhere around 2009, and yeah, well, it doesn't seem like you can speak English, my homie. All right, yeah, I'm just flabbergasted. So just give me a minute. Still processing this. How do you? All right, I'm back. So what's that? Something. Okay, let's just get started. But inshallah. So I learned English through listening. And trust me, there's a lot that can be learned through listening alone. You could start memorizing the Quran, the Holy Book, through listening. I mean, of course, it's easy. And because it's done in a spontaneous manner, it qualifies itself as the best learning method. Of course, not the only method to learn a subject or anything, of course, but it's there. It's free, and it will get you started learning whatever subject or topic you want to learn. So, English, like we said, lots and lots of listening. Then came what's called word association. I hear a certain word, I see how it's written, and then it gets stuck in my head. Then I hear a different word, a variation of the same word with the same meaning, i.e., a synonym. Cinnamon. Okay, a synonym, a closely related word, and I figure out that this word has the same meaning as that word. Now I got it. I got two birds with one stone. Anyways, I got two words with one stone. And it goes on and on like that. What is to be gained from this, or the moral of this all, is to never underestimate the power of listening. And I will just take this minute right here to say the following. Please learn Arabic. And it's not difficult. Trust me. There are some misconceptions. People don't want to learn Arabic because not all Arab countries would respond when, I don't know, engaging in conversations in classical Arabic. But that makes no sense. I mean, Arabic is there and it's difficult only if you don't know it. So it's there for people to learn. It's used in writing. So how come people don't want to learn it? I'm talking about people who say it's difficult, and it's especially the ones who say it's not used that much. Like, no. Arabic is the language of the Quran, the most reliable book on the whole planet. It's written. It's God's words. That's number one. We could debate. I would love to. I'm open to debating. I mean, yeah, we could debate whether that's true or not. So I digress. Languages are a beautiful invention. They are all coming from this beautiful language, which is Arabic. Yep. So learning Arabic will get you places, trust me. Of course, you can pick it up through listening, but most importantly is how you would use it. So you would pick the language through listening. That's good, like we said. Then, thank God, there are lots of Arabic speaking people who would be happy to help out if you need someone to talk to. You can go online and just listen to different types of people say different things, and voila, you will see yourself picking up a word or two. So Arabic is neat, and there is No, I want trying to find the exact quote. You gotta hold on a minute. I don't want to. Oh my. Okay. So there is ليس هناك طبع من الطبائع البشرية التي لا يمكن للغة العربية أن تعبر عنه. Okay, close enough. There is no, there's nothing that Arabic cannot express. By nothing, I mean, I'm talking about emotions, human emotions, expressions. And that's observable because for me personally, I grew up learning Arabic and English. Sorry, Arabic. I should say French. I'm talking about the I'm talking about the context of our educational system. So school, elementary school. We grew up learning Arabic and French. Later on, like I said, I started learning more and more about English. I grew into the language, grew into liking it. And where were we? Arabic is easy. It's not that difficult. There are many advantages of learning Arabic. The most basic one of them being having the ability to read the Quran. That's number one. Number two, you would understand how many people speak Arabic in the world. So that many. You would be able to understand them. And if you think they will mock you, come on. You shouldn't be thinking that. If you have the mentality of someone who loves learning languages, especially someone who went straight into learning Arabic, I would doubt that you would think people would mock you for speaking the language. Come on, that makes no sense. So learning Arabic is a great way to interact with a different caliber of people, meaning a different category in a way, because we have dialects, we have different dialects. In Morocco, for example, I'm Moroccan right now. I'm in Morocco. We have a couple of Arabic dialects, I would say, with different, of course, with differences in pronunciation, etc. But they're dialect. I mean, they are uh, Arabic. They're called Darija. That's what we call them, Darija. And the more you move from an area to another, the difference starts to appear in like you said, pronunciation, especially pronunciation. Other things like grammar and syntax, they pretty much, I guess, they're stable. You know, they preserve. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, so between brackets, it's not good to use complex words. Trust me. Just use easy words and try to string them together cohesively. That's it. Don't try to complicate a situation. Don't create problems. That's it. Don't create problems out of nowhere. So Arabic, again, in Morocco, can only be seen in educational settings. That includes, of course, that includes seminars, webinars, and the likes, etc. We have a Darija, which is a it's it's how can I say it? So us Algerians, Tunisians, Egyptians, we all use Arabic. But, I mean, you know where I'm going with this one. It's not classical Arabic. These are dialects. We're talking about vernacular language, the language that you hear on the streets. And you can communicate with these people using classical Arabic. They will, trust me, they will understand you for sure. I don't have the statistics. I don't have the statistics, but they will understand you. Although they might find it difficult to respond, some of them will find it hard or harder than others. They will eventually respond in their wait. They will respond in their Darija and their mother tongue, right? So we can go back to how I learned English. Now I felt motivated. In middle school, we started learning English officially, because I didn't experience learning Arabic within a group setting, but that changed in middle school, the third year of middle school, ninth grade. Yeah. So after that, there there was after that there was little presence of that language in my life. I noticed, of course, looking back, talking about that period of time, there wasn't much going on in my own world with regards to speaking, reading, listening to this language, and writing as well. So I was in the conscious incompetence phase. I knew that I didn't know a thing. And fast forward maybe a year or two, we started, I guess it's 1 year after ninth grade. So in high school, thank God, by the grace of Allah the Almighty, I started learning more and more about the language. And I started, we, I've had a really good teacher, uh, and she encouraged us to read. Yeah, she gave us what 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 is called graded uh, reading. Right. So yeah, I was checking on something. Anyways. So um, I was saying that our teacher gave us graded readers or just readers, books, stories, especially stories, because that's all what we could understand it. That's all what we needed actually at that time. Um, us being 14-year-olds, yeah, 14-year-olds, I guess. 13, yeah, 14-year-olds. Yeah, I mean, what else would we need? Anyways, so these books, of course, encouraged us to read and learn more. I just want to talk about something for a second. Please, if you're a teacher, please, please advise your students to read. Like, I want to say enforce it upon them because I beg you, please, it will change their lives. Reading is really, really cool. It's a sport no one really talks about. I'm just kidding. I mean, you could do you. But on all seriousness, we read to enrich our vocabulary. It's number one. And there's this phrase I remember from I don't know, some writing we did way back, and we would repeat it. So the question was, why do we read? And the answer, which everyone used, to enrich our vocabulary. Of course, it was in Arabic. لإغناء رصيد المعرفي. And we used to joke about it because it's interesting. We had that same mentality of using the. I mean, we use the same word over and over again, same sentence over and over again, and we memorized it. Well, yeah. Well, it's it's weird. It's true that reading enriches one's vocabulary, but we should do it often. We should do it more often. Anyways, I'm just digressing. So after like in okay, I'm glitching. So in high school, I got introduced to books, stories, reading, etc., a bit of writing, but most importantly, what interested me back then and still does today is vocabulary, having new words, more words equal freedom in a way. Because when you try to write anything and you have a limited vocabulary, it is difficult to finish whatever you're doing. But when you have a chest of words, lots of words to use, of course, now you have you have great power, but that came with great responsibility. You don't want to make your readers bored, so you don't want to bore them. You don't want to confuse them for sure. So use your mind and come up with the least amount of words. Nah, that's stingy for no reason. Use the right words. Okay, let's move on. And yeah, I I tried speaking the language and I felt really bad. I was scolding myself for not being able to communicate freely. Of course, not like now. Come on. So I was doing that, and I don't know why. But I just did. Anyways, it's good to be self-critical. It's really good. That's all I can say. Keep doing it. If you're being critical of your own self, keep doing it. So, fast forward again in, I guess, in high school as well. It was in high school. I learned a lot of words, a lot of new words. I guess speaking only started in college, speaking the language. So you can imagine, it's been 6 years or more. Yeah, I would say 6 years from my first interaction, well, first encounter, not interaction, first encounter with the language. But I guess it's worth it because you know what they say. You can build a skyscraper if your foundation is deep. It is true. It is true. Thank God, alhamdulillah. It gives you a new perspective, actually, to learn a new language. And the Noam Chomsky theory. It says that if you learned a specific language, you start thinking differently. And it's interesting, how does that even? I want to say how does that even work, but I know a bit about how it works. So we're talking about the brain. Duh. Mm, okay. I didn't prepare for this, but thank God I'm doing it. Glad, glad I'm doing it. Anyways, now that I'm in high school, I moved to college. I wasn't speaking that much of English, and I'm still doing, you know, I'm still translating into my native language before I could before I could speak. I noticed that as well when I was learning Japanese because I did. I started learning Japanese and I just dropped it off. Not because it was too difficult. No, sorry, no, I'm not gonna take that as an excuse. But because I said, why bother? Of course, I learned the basics of the language. So, konnichiwa, ohayo, ha- yeah, I'm not gonna embarrass myself. Sorry, すみません. Now, when you learn the basics, I guess that's enough. When you learn the very basics of a given language, I guess that just seals it. I did that out of spite. So I was following a bit of anime back at that time, and I said, why not? I mean, I loved anime. I loved how the language sounded. I said, well, I would love to hear me speak some Japanese. I did. I did try to learn. Like I said, I got a hold of the gist of the language, and it was worth doing. Trust me, it was worth doing. I didn't bring any water. Hold on a minute. Just hold on a minute. Anyway, so we're talking about Japanese. Like I said, I learned a bit about the basics. And just to say something here, we as humans, we crave attention. We do. And we get influenced by other people, or we are influenced by other people to some extent. And we're prone to change our ways of living or our ways in general, doing things because of people. So I just want to say that because of the friends I had, I turned it to learning the language, learning Japanese. And like I said again, it's not bad to have a bit of everything. Uh, as a matter of fact, we should do just that, but focus on what really matters and um, focus on that to excel. I mean, no one wants to be um, dormant, stay dormant in the face of change. Life is happening. We need to excel at a thing or two because it feels good to leave an imprint. That's number one. And number two, it's gonna be helpful to your generation, your offsprings, your children, and uh, that whole generation. We're talking about wealth. It could be anything. So um, the monetary value you will have, or you will pass down to your children and their children, will restrain them. It will stop them from begging, from begging people. I mean, look at the streets. It's gonna help people. Of course, when you leave wealth, that's gonna help others. I mean, it's obvious. Now, uh, we can move on to. I could, I could conclude the first bit, which is how I learned English. So let me remember when I started listening. I guess it was in COVID, during COVID. So before and during COVID, I used to listen to a lot of content, and I used to read a lot of English books. A lot of English books. I would consume lots of content, written and audible as well. That helped me learn more, of course. And when you read more, you understand more of a given topic. You gain new words. You learn more about people. A figure or two or more. You learn more about places. You learn more about yourself. That's the beauty of reading. It's like a mirror. Those mirrors. I I can't remember what they're called. I can't remember what they're called. You know, it's like that. I mean, you have different mirrors side by side, some facing each other, and then there's you in the middle. It's this like you are the same person, but in each and every mirror, you you have this angle of or angle about how something works. You get this angle, for example, um, you have this one angle about human beings and mankind in general. You have another angle about chemistry and etc. In different books, you would have the same topics, but of course from different angles, etc. So it's uh, we're talking about an infinite. Uh, it isn't. I want to say infinite. It is finite, but uh, given the fact that we don't live to be 100 all the, like, we're not talking about uh, a general matter. Not all people live to be 100. Uh, so we could say it's infinite in this context. We only live to be 70, 80, 90, 100 um, in rare occasions. But like I said, it is uh, actually finite how many angles you would have on different topics. And this would bring me to the next point. I mean, this really, yeah, this morphs into some concerns. Um, I mean, people forgot about God, like Nietzsche said. But I mean, people who don't know about God will have the same stance as Nietzsche. For me and you, God, God is part of my life personally. God is part of my life. Uh, it's unclear how. I mean, the possibility of having no God is just, it baffles me. Trust me, it baffles me. It's crazy. And like, I remember this saying by Hazrat, guess I guess it was Hazrat Khalifa Masih the fourth, Hazrat Mirza Tahir Ahmed, so the fourth caliph of the Ahmadi Muslim community. He said, "Can I write something here? Wait, wait. How can you do that? Two mouses. What did I say? Man, ah, yeah, it's weird. I'm thinking about English grammar, like why. Let me just keep it short. I'm gonna say something that I'm gonna regret. It's good to keep it silent at times. Anyways, so we were talking about God. Let me talk about the attributes of God. I totally forgot what I was gonna do. The attributes of God are to be embraced and uh, acted out. That's the main purpose. When we say, for example, God is Al Ahad, the one and only. There is no other God except the one that we know, Allah. Of course, people create idols, they create figures that they call God. But the the thing the thing is, and where God uh, differentiates where God differentiates itself, where God is different, where God differentiates himself, um, is how he created the people and their gods. And just imagine having um, adultery or polytheism as a concept that never dies, And talking about it, um, centuries ago, and then debunking it, meaning, or sorry, refuting it. I mean, how magnificent! That just shows you another, or that leads you to another attribute, which is the greatest. And there's this hadith, there's this saying by Hazrat Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, uh, let me find the exact hadith. Okay, so in Sunnah.com, Allah's apostle said, Allah has 99 names, 100 less one, and he who memorized them all by heart will enter paradise. Of course, to count something means to know it by heart. That's the hadith I was going for. إن لله 99 اسما من أحصاها دخل الجنة. Like I said in the beginning, Arabic is such an interesting language. I mean, the words أحصى وعد are the same. Trust me. When I say to someone who doesn't know Arabic that very well, al-ihsa and al-ad, and if I ask them what's the difference between the two, they would say actually they're the same because, I mean, why else would they be different? Ahsa wa adda. However, when you learn just a little bit about the variations of different names and different al-masadir, etc., sources, also, they're just called names in English. When you learn, sorry, but I'm just fascinated. You know, when I learn more. Right now, I'm trying to. MashaAllah, that's just crazy. It is crazy, trust me. MashaAllah. Where was I? Okay, what was that? So let's just start over. So my other concern, like I said, people forgot about God, but um, this is a call for people to go back to that source and learn more about that source. It's gonna save your life. Trust me. God will save your life. The cool thing about this is a concept I really admire. It's memory. And memory works differently when you believe in God. If I say I did my parents wrong, I misbehaved, and I don't know God, I would actually go and do something stupid. Drink, do drugs. I'm talking about something really stupid here because in this context, I did something really bad. But if I know God, I know He forgives. And I know that if God forgives my parts, then what's left is my parents. What I can do is give alms. I mean, I could give out something to say that to show that I'm sorry. You know, this is something that needs to be done out of sheer will. You don't fake it. Of course, you don't fake it. I mean, that's God, the Almighty. So you show God that you are sorry by giving out some alms. You donate something, you give out something, money, whatever. But I mean, it has to be valuable, of course. You don't want to give out uh, redundant stuff. You wouldn't take that. Is an entity uh, that God created us, so it's an entity that created us, and it's the entity that we're all going back to. So there's no way around that. We can't run away. And if God is all powerful, as He is He forgiving? Of course, God is forgiving. So memory uh, works differently, such as different things, different concepts. Spotlights, it's the same thing that happens when you go to space. Time stretches, physics change, it's the same thing. When we believe in God, we literally defy the laws. Trust me. Um, how can I say that? Imagine something high up, something in the sky, and it exerts some power over uh, what's beneath. Now, anything that's attached would have the same effect. Of course, if anything ever gets the chance to be attached to that thing, it's gonna be strong. So, if a human being, walking around, I decided to grab onto that thing, whatever rope, whatever things, chains or chain that's coming from that figure, I would say that I'm strong for doing that. I would qualify myself as someone who's strong. You know, I would just love to think that about uh, that particular situation. And uh, I really want to talk about this bit because it's really important. Um, but it's going to lead us uh, elsewhere. So uh, we can deduct the following: the person holding on to this uh, rope is strong. That's number one. Number two, uh, whatever power, whatever thing, whatever element giving energy to this floating or stable object, that's the same thing that's going to feed us if we were to hold on to this rope. God created the world, the heavens and the earth. He made laws, but laws can be uh, they can be broken. He created laws for believers to live happily. That's the idea. When you become a believer, you have to get rid of sin, the things that you carry out. Uh, People call them layers. That's good. You know, it's good. We could label that as layers. And sometimes these are things that these are internal things. So layers, we're talking about outside of your body type of thing. But if the sin or the attribute or the traits, I want to say traits because it's about us humans, is flawed, we need to change it. So if someone is arrogant, they have to get rid of arrogance. There are other a quoter, someone who quotes from God and delivers to the people. He says that God said this, and he brings the narration. So there's this hadith where God threatens people who are trying to fight him for arrogance. Like in the context of the wilderness, a lion and I don't know, uh, another animal. Wait. Wait. قال الله عز وجل: الكبرياء ردائي والعظمة إزاري، نسي إزائي، فمن نازعني واحدا منهما قذفته في النار. Okay, يعني in another narration, so there are different variations. Let's go. Okay.